Glad to see you. Let me get you in there.
Hey guys, someone asked a question.
All right. Okay. So, first things first. Since the beginning, do you believe in the resurrection? Has sort of felt like kind of a through line of the show, and we've had it both metaphorically with Black Lightning resurrecting, and quite literally now with Lala. So, how did you come to that theme, and what significance will it have for the rest of the season?
Well, for Black Lightning, it was in my head that we were sort of resurrecting him from, the DC comics where he had just sort of disappeared. And in Lala's case, and in the show's case, resurrection just sort of means, do you believe that anything can happen? Because Tobias first says that it's a great concept, but complete fantasy, right? Something like that. And I believe in the resurrection of the soul. What I mean by that is, I grew up in Richmond, California, which was not a great place to grow up. So you're looking at somebody who is the resurrection. For me to be sitting here with you guys talking about a show that I'm doing is I'm a walking miracle, right? Because I didn't know anybody, didn't have anything. And so I try to work those themes subtly and overtly into the show as best as I can. So it has a broad meaning, but I think it's a great question.
Any other characters from the DC lore that you're interested in resurrecting in that universe that you've created?
Not right now. Not right now, to be honest. I really want everybody to get to know the Pierce family. Because people will say now, oh, I read Black Lightning and I know, what I mean? But honestly, we hadn't heard anything about him until we started talking about doing the show. And so I think it's appropriate for people to get to know him. They got to get to know Anissa. Now they got to get to know Lightning, his youngest daughter, Jennifer. And I think that's going to take a moment, to let everybody have room to grow. I'm excited about those young women having powers and what they're going to do.
I think that this is a really important time in media for minorities and the African Americans, especially both on the big screen and the small screen. And I think Black Lightning came at a really important time, and I think people have reacted really, really well to it. Can you talk a little bit about fan reactions and how you've felt about the way that the show's been received?
It's funny because the show is shown globally, and it's something that I tell my assistant all the time is that we're not a minority. We're actually the majority. So I've never lived my life as though I was a minority. And I think what you're beginning to see, not only with so-called minorities, but with women, with people of different sexualities, is that they're no longer taking the labels that are put upon them. They're defining who they are for themselves. And so I wanted to define this family for who they are, you see what I'm saying, based on how they were taught. And so the reaction, I think, is commiserated with the way that we sort of approach our storytelling. We don't tell our stories from a victim place or from a so-called minority place. We tell them from an empowered place. And so I think that's why women, people of different sexualities, black folk, everybody, I think, are reacting to it because I think people want to know. We're giving people a window into these people's lives. You know what I mean? Does that answer your question?
Totally.
Okay.
You were talking about giving each Pierce family member a story, like telling their story before anybody else's. You during the first few episodes of the season, you did show Grace holding out an Outsider's comic book. I was wondering if that was an Easter egg or if it will play out in Grace's backstory sometime in like season 2 or like season 3.
I could say that you should expect to see Grace again in a bigger way.
This season. Are we going to see her anytime this season? As an Asian person, I just feel like
You can bet on seeing Grace again in a bigger role.
All right, guys,
very-
last question.
Anissa and Jennifer both have very different perspectives that are equally fleshed out.
Yeah.
So how did you?
I'm sorry, start again?
Anissa and Jennifer both have equally different perspectives on powers that are equally fleshed
Yeah.
out. So how did you decide which one felt which way, and why did you think it was important to show Jennifer's side? Because she's still a good person despite not wanting to be a hero.
Yeah.
And that's valid.
Yeah. I wanted to show different perspectives on power. All the shows that I've seen or movies that I've seen, powers are great. You know, you get them and all of a sudden you got a costume, right? I wanted to show that sometimes, you know, it's not so great. You don't want this. It's like being drafted into the military, right? I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be in a war, shooting people, killing people, fighting this war. So to me, their powers almost being like being drafted, and she didn't want to be drafted. And so it was very easy to sort of separate a person who thinks that they're a blessing, a gift from God, and this other person who thinks, well, it could be a curse from the devil. You know what I mean? So it was very easy to draw that line.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love the Garfield hi-hat.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, nice hat.
Thank you so much. Let me record you. Oh my goodness.
Who goes first?
Yes, who would like to go first?
Go for it.
Okay, well, we've recently started delving into mysticism a little bit in Black Lightning. Like we've got, first there was Lady Eve talking about albinos, and then there was Lala coming back. So are we going to get to see how and why that happened to Lala, and how will magic or mysticism play more of a role in upcoming episodes?
I think fairly soon you'll see the Lala, because that was episode 10. So fairly soon you'll see how Lala came back and why all this stuff is happening to him, and why he doesn't really have a memory of what happened to him. I don't want to give away too much about what's coming, but it's coming very soon. Like 2 episodes.
That's perfect.
In the episode that we just saw in the arena, the reveal was that the ASA finally found out who Jefferson really is.
Right.
It's like moving forward, are we gonna find it's like the ASA being a bigger villain in the story, or
they are the big bad. So we had Lala, and then Tobias, and then Lady Eve, but the ASA is the big bad for the season. You will see. Again, I'm choosing words very carefully. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the ASA is the big bad, and you will learn a lot very soon. Again.
I guess a backwards-looking question. Khalil was originally taken in by Tobias and was going to be used to turn people against Black Lightning. But then Lady Eve's death did that.
Right.
So was that a shift in plans for you guys, or are there more plans to come for Tobias?
Oh, Tobias is a planner. So there's more plans. There are things that have yet to be discovered, revealed, or uncovered. So this show, nothing's off the table. Obviously, nothing's off the table. So just remember all the people that you've seen, because they may or may not be coming back.
We're getting a lot of evasive answers here. So what can you tell us? Is there something exciting that we can't talk about that you're able to?
See, you're going forward. There are... You will get to see more of the family, the Pierce family, and their powers going forward. That's going to be fun. You get to learn more about the Gandhi relationship going forward with Jefferson, and you get Tobias. I can't wait for that one. So I'm being vague. but you will like me for it later.
Speaking of the Pierce family, I really love how both Jennifer and Lynn are allowed to have a very different perspective from Anissa and Jefferson about powers and like what it means to help people and whether you need to use those powers to do that. So how did you guys come to that decision to have them be so opposed to it, but still clearly good people who help in their own way?
Jennifer and Anissa?
Jennifer and Anissa are very different, but she and Lynn both are against using the powers.
Right.
And yet they're still very good people.
Right. I mean, if you look at families, people tend to mirror another person. So Anissa mirrors Jefferson, where Jennifer mirrors Lynn. The funny thing is, in my estimation, Jennifer's a lot more like Jefferson than she really likes to lead off, like to admit. And the power linkage kind of makes that a little obvious. And in my mind, I feel like Jefferson was a lot more like Jennifer when he was younger. And I feel like he grew up in Anissa's following the guy that he became. But I feel like when he's Black Lightning, he's a lot more like Jennifer is. And when he's Jefferson, he's a lot like Anissa. But it's a weird kind of mix of genetics. Everything's a little jumbled with them.
Oh, I thought we were.
Sorry.
Oh,
Wait.
just kidding. Never mind.
That's why we were like, I thought.